Hey guys, I just got back from my second trip from Hobby Lobby. It's early Monday morning and I'm going to share a little clip with you. I'm going to cut away from the video here and I'm going to show you what I seen when I was editing my video for my Hobby Lobby haul. I was talking about the little wagon. It was $149. Even with 40% off, I thought that was a little too steep. But when editing my video, I noticed this, that spring decor. So that tells me that it was probably marked down more than just 40% or 50%. So it being early Monday morning, we went to get us a breakfast sandwich, and Hobby Lobby opened at 9 a.m. At 9:06, I was walking in. I'm heading back to the back wall where I seen the wagon, and it wasn't there. And I asked the ladies up front, and they said, it could be in the spring stuff, it could be gone. So I head back over there and I see a couple of people working on setting some new resets in the aisle. And I asked them and they knew exactly where it was, and there it was, sitting on the end cap with 66% off. So I am so happy that I found it, and here's a picture of it here. The wagon, I think it's just so adorable, so cute. I love the wood and the metal on it, and I thought it would be great to put pumpkins in for the fall and maybe a little tree for Christmas. And I may just leave that piece sitting out at all times. I just fell in love with it, so I got it for $51, and I was happy to get that. Also, I wanted to find the little scarecrow that was holding the pumpkin, and she was 40% off, and I did pay $46 for her, but she was just too cute to leave behind. They only had 2 left in the store, so I wanted to go ahead and pick one of those up. So I'm going to share a picture of both of those items. Remember where we had cleaned up the garage and organized the items that had been thrifted and yard saled all summer long? Well, we did get it sorted, and I now bring in a few items at a time so that I can clean them up and get them listed. I have to mark the items with our booth number on each item in case they get separated, and then it's taken to a booth area for us to check for lost items. And each time we visit, we do go check that booth area and make sure that none of the items in there are ours. And I've already got these cleaned up, and I just have to figure out a price that I'm going to put on these bowls and pitchers that I found. There were no chips on them, and I got them at a good price. The white one, I paid $1, and the brown one is probably around 50 years old, and I believe she wanted $10, but we might have haggled a little bit on that price. But even at 10, I was happy to get it. So I'll get these things marked, and they will probably go down to the booth on my next reset as soon as I get through the summer a little bit. But I'm excited about setting up my fall booth, and I can't wait to share that with you. I am sharing my craft room, sewing room, everything room. I have brought in, and Larry has helped me bring in all of my totes for the fall so that I can go through them, and it's not something that I want to go through out in the middle of my living room. So here they are, everything pertaining to fall decoration in the totes. Brought them in from the garage, so I do need to go through them see what I'm going to keep, see what I'm sending to the booth. Quite a bit of stuff. And then you just seen my fall haul from Hobby Lobby, even more. So anyway, my work is cut out for me this week or this weekend. In this portion of the video, I want to share a recipe with you. And here are some of the items that I'll be using for this meal. The ribeye beef shaved steak, that's 1 pound. I've got some Italian bread, butter, Italian seasoning, garlic powder, onion powder, a green pepper, 6 slices of provolone cheese, also some mushrooms. Any and all of this is optional. I'm going to use half of the bell pepper. And if you were doing an onion, you could do half of an onion, but I'm only using the onion powder today in this recipe, not the actual onions. Now I'm going to cut and dice these. I don't have a dicer, so I'm going to do it by hand. And I'm going to dice this and get it prepped and ready to saute in a skillet. I will also need to prep the mushrooms. They only had the whole ones, so I will clean them up really good. I always clean the mushrooms up really good, even if they're packaged and said they're ready. I do like to clean them up. So I will have to slice these. And they will go in a separate bowl because they will not saute in the skillet at the same time. It takes a little longer for the green peppers to caramelize and the onions, if you're using onions, than the mushrooms. So halfway through, I will add the mushrooms to the green peppers in the skillet to saute them. Over on my cooktop, I have my saute skillet that I'm going to add about a tablespoon of butter. And then I'm going to go ahead and put my green peppers. And if you're doing diced onions, this would be the time to put them in and let them both cook and almost caramelize together. I do like to get mine just a little brown. My other large skillet is going to be for my bread. Now this recipe is called a Philly cheesesteak skillet, and you can eat that on just your plate with some bread, or you can make it into a sandwich. It would be great on hoagie buns or toasted bread, sourdough, any kind of bread you like. This is not one that I created myself. I found this recipe online and sort of tweaked it the way that we like it. And after the green peppers are almost done, I'm going to go ahead and put my mushrooms in, and they will saute rather quickly. So I'm going to turn them on low, cover them, and then by the time I get my bread done, then these will be done. So let's go back over to my countertop, and I know I'm almost out of the frame, and I apologize, guys. I thought I had my camera set correctly. You can see just a little bit of my bread on that cutting board, but I'm actually just going to slice it, and I'm trying to slice it into about a 1/2 inch thick pieces, except the end, it's a little thicker. But I do go ahead and grill it. It's great just to have it on the side, or if you didn't want to grill your bread or toast it, you could heat this up and fix a dipping oil with some olive oil and some Italian seasoning. And you could dip your bread in it like that, like you would get at some of the restaurants. But I wanted this to butter it up, grill it in my skillet, and it just tastes so great. This Italian bread was supposedly baked fresh from the deli, from the grocery, but I would love to be able to bake my own bread, but mine never turns out. All right, this is done. The mushrooms are sauteed. Everything's sauteed, soft, but it's got a lot of juice to it. Anytime you cover your skillet, it's going to get juices to it. So I am going to go ahead and put this in a bowl and set it aside. But before I add it to the meat, I will drain the juices off of it. But for now, I'm just going to put it in the bowl and let it rest here until after I cook the ribeye steak. In the same skillet, I'm going to go ahead and open my ribeye steak. This is very thinly cut. It's called shaved ribeye steak, and it's 16 ounces, it's 1 pound. And this is plenty enough for 2. In fact, it's going to be plenty enough for 3 because our Allie stopped in and she made a sandwich and had some dinner with us. So I don't want this very thin cut meat to cook too quick. It will get too tough. So I'm going to turn it on, probably not low, but in between low and medium, and just let this slowly cook so that it'll be pretty tender. This is when I'm going to add about 1/4 of a teaspoon of onion powder and garlic powder. Now I do the onion powder instead of the actual onions for us, but I do like the flavor of the onion powder. You do it to taste, but you really don't want to ruin your meat with too much seasoning on this. I don't even salt and pepper. I just do those seasonings alone, and it just tastes really great. Moving over to my other skillet. Now I'm going to put some butter here in the skillet. I normally wouldn't do this, but someone forgot to put another stick of butter in the butter dish that I leave out on the counter. I do love to have the soft butter. I would normally spread it across the bread. Now I don't want the skillet just too hot, but I'm going to go ahead and melt a little bit of butter in the skillet, and then I'm going to melt some in a bowl so that I can spread it across this bread. Because normally I would just spread the soft butter on one side, put it in the skillet, and then put it on the other side of the bread because I like both sides toasted. So I'm going to go ahead with this soft butter that I melted and put on this side of the bread. I'm going to just sprinkle a little bit of Italian seasoning over it, and you just do this to as much as you like. I just like to use a little on one side. You could do both sides if you wanted. You could even add cheese to this if you wanted. I just wanted my bread toasted, and I like that little crunch on the edge of it, and it just makes it taste so much better with this meal. And again, like I said, you can make these into sandwiches, but I'll continue to grill my bread in the skillet and finish it up. While you are grilling that bread, continue to stir your steak in your other skillet. I'm going to go ahead and cover it so that it will cook evenly and cook all the way through. But I want to keep the temperature still on low to medium. I don't want to cook it too quick. Keep in mind when you cover your skillet, you're going to get a lot of juices. So I'm going to need to drain the juices off of the steak and drain the juices off of the mushrooms and peppers. After draining all the juice off of the meat and going to drain sauteed green peppers and mushrooms, I'm going to add it all together in the skillet. I'm just going to mix it up, keep it on low, finish up my bread. We love this dish. Without the bread, it is a keto meal. Keep that in mind. But with the bread, we just love the Italian loaf. To complete this Philly cheesesteak skillet, I'm using these 6 slices of provolone cheese. If you want more cheese, you can add it, but I found that this is plenty enough for this dish. And I put the lid over it, keep it on low, and let the cheese melt. Once the cheese is melted, your dish is ready to go and ready to serve and ready to eat. This is my plate, the Philly cheesesteak skillet and the bread on the side, along with the little horsey sauce, and it's all ready to eat. Allie liked to make a sandwich, and on her sandwich, there's our girl, she likes a little A1 steak sauce on it, and she really loved it. Hey you, I'm so glad that you have stayed for this portion of the video. I have a quick DIY, and this is something pertaining to fall. I know we're still in July, but you know, we prepare early here on YouTube. So I'm going to move the camera down off of me onto the items that I'm going to show you how we're going to create some cute little acorns today. I created some of these adorable acorns, and this is the items that I used. You could use the plastic Easter eggs to make these adorable acorns. I used 4-inch round fabric, some rope, some outside tree stems, and some glue. So sorry that I lost the video in making those, but here they are. And I just bet that you could create your own and pick out some adorable fabric, but this is how I displayed mine. Just want to end this video with a beautiful sunset. Thanks for watching, and God bless you and your family.